Top 10 Scariest Punishments in the World. There have been many bloody periods in human history where torture and executions were perceived as ordinary. The screams of prisoners almost never ceased behind the high walls of prisons, and the pools of blood in the main squares appeared to form lakes. Subscribe our channel for similar historical facts. Today we are going to discuss about the most brutal punishment that existed in the past. 1. Blood eagle. The execution originated during the Middle Ages in Scandinavia and was usually applied to high-ranking enemies taken prisoner. The execution consisted of breaking the victim's ribs on the side with an axe, then making incisions and pulling out the ribs to resemble wings. After that, the alive victim would have his lungs pulled out and placed so that the improvised wings move. After that, the still living person was tied on ropes and lifted up for public viewing. It was assumed that this execution was not only a cruel method of murder but also some kind of religious sacrifice in the name of supreme Scandinavian god Odin. 2. The Brazen Bull. This is the worst death penalty in the history of mankind, which was developed in Greece. The man who was sentenced to this punishment was put inside the bull made of bronze. Then a fire was set underneath the bull and continued until the body was completely roasted. But that's not only the worst part. A sound pipe was connected through the base of the bull to the mouth of the bull so that the executioner can enjoy the deadly sound of the bull as the person screams. 3. The wheel. It is also an ancient type of torture and execution invented in ancient Rome. The condemned person was fastened to a board or bench with ropes and then a wheel with steel spikes and driven over the person's body. The person was mounted on the spiked, which in the process of turning the wheel, pulled his body upwards. However, the execution is different in the Middle Ages of Europe. First, the criminal is placed belly down, hands and feet tied to a board. The body is struck twice on each arm, and in each leg. The last ninth struck in the middle of the spine so that it breaks. The broken body is inserted to a wheel and the wheel is driven onto a pole which is then fixed vertically. Then the criminal was left to die afloat in the wheel and let rot. It was one of the most cruel methods to punish criminals and to terrorize population. 4. Iron Maiden. It was supposedly used in Middle Ages to punish criminals. Its description varies from source to source. Generally, it is an upright wooden or metal box with nails and spikes inside it. The victim was placed inside, door closed, and left to suffer. In one variation, the condemned person was placed in a vertical sarcophagus studded with blades of spike, and then lid would begin to close slowly, penetrating the person, and it was left closed for some time until the person dies. 5. Crushing. Execution by crushing is one of the oldest method of execution. It is based on the use of various heavy objects to crush the victim's entire body or individual parts for painful death. A popular method of execution was stepping by elephant. It was practiced for 4,000 years. 6. Burning. It was followed in Europe for political reprisals, serious crimes, religious intolerance, or witchcrafts. The victim was placed on a pyre and fire was set. The executioners keep an eye on flames, preventing from getting too hot, prolonging the victim's agony.